This book is dedicated to the God who called me, sustained me, and led me to completion. To the members of my personal learning committee, Dr. Damian Black, Dr. Lawrence Nicholson, Dr. Owen Wilson, Dr. Zoe Simpson, Dr. David Corbin, Dr. Clara Ricketts, Dr. Cynthia Allen Pearson, David Pearson, Patrick Thompson, and Darren Hilaire. This book is dedicated to you. Now, I am going to order these books and give to you each an autographed copy.
Hi, I'm Hennika Watkins, Porter speaker, coach, author of Podcast Power, inviting you to listen to the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast, brought to you by Ruth Taylor, best-selling indie author and the Caribbean's most trusted voice on entrepreneurship. Get ready to dominate entrepreneurship.
It's episode 213 of the Authorpreneur Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ruth Taylor, and in today's show, we are going to be trying to help those of you who are pursuing doctoral studies with some lessons on the journey to help you to finish the course. I'll be updating you on my upcoming celebration from Calling to Completion and the launch of this book, From Calling to Completion, Leadership and Life Lessons from a 12-year doctoral journey. So I'm going to be sharing some of the lessons from this, as well as lessons from this other book that helped me on my journey, Balancing Work, Family Life, and Studies, 12 Lessons Learned on My PhD Journey by Dr. Lisa Facey-Shaw. And Dr. Shaw will be part of the panel at my upcoming birthday book launch and doctoral celebration on May 9, which by the time this is aired will be 4 days away. And so it's going to be all about that and some other entrepreneurship ventures. So stay tuned.
Your book is the perfect spark to get the fire going in your personal life, career, business, or ministry. Light that book spark today.
All right, let's talk about it. The latest in terms of my entrepreneurship ventures. Well, in Jamaica, it is Child Month. Now, this is Looking for Haven, the hardcover. It is so nice. And it's about the dogs who are looking for humans who've disappeared and their adventures along the way. Now, in Jamaica, this week is Read Across Jamaica Day. I think it is May 6th. And so these books, we've secured donations to get them into the hands of readers. And I want to thank the Nunes family and their friends for this. So we got 20 to give away to schools. We have sent 12 to Westmoreland, 2 schools in Westmoreland, and we should be getting the other 8 to a school in St. Elizabeth. And we will work on getting that down this week. All right. So that's one. And if you're looking for books for your children, I'm recommending these. Looking for Haven by Enrico Nunes. Then we also got 30 of these books were ordered for some schools. This is Donkey Say, a performance folk tale by Nadine Brady Taylor. In Jamaica, we have this saying, Proverbs, donkey say the world no level. And this is like the story around it about, a pompous, proud donkey who was taught a lesson that humbled him. And he realized that nobody is better than him. And so this was also converted to a play. This is an award-winning book. Nadine Brady Taylor, these 2 are Jamaicans living overseas, and we were able to help them to produce that book. Then another book we're promoting for Read Across Jamaica Day is Bushy, the Busy Forest Rabbit and Friends by Andreen Tyrrell. And I'll put a link in the show notes where you can go and order these books directly from the author, or you can go to Amazon. When you order directly from the authors make more money. So it's Child Month, looking for a book for your children. There is Bushy, The Busy Forest Rabbit and Friends. There is Donkey Say. There is Looking for Haven. And my own book, Harry Dreams. I also got orders for these. So I 8 of these were ordered. So our children's books are selling, and whoever came up with Read Across Jamaica Day, I know the government has endorsed it. It is good because it also helps our authors, children's book authors, to sell their books. We want to big up Cozy Corner. That's the children's bookstore that we partner with in Jamaica, instrumental in securing orders for Donkey Say for Read Across Jamaica Day. So I'm recommending these books. All right, these 4 children's book to you. My birthday is coming up, and that's May 9. And so on May 9, 4:30, we're going to have a time of worship and celebration. Those of you who are not religious, that may put you off, but that's me. I am a Christian. I went to a Christian university. I went twice, well, all my tertiary education schools. I went to the Jamaica Theological Seminary for my first degree. Then I went to the Caribbean Graduate School of Theology, where I did a master's in theology with an emphasis on intercultural studies. And my latest graduation, upcoming graduate school is Baki Graduate University, where I did the doctoral degree in transformational leadership with an emphasis on cultural transformation. And that's where all the books come in, because that's part of culture. And book publishing and writing are part of the cultural and creative industries, of which I'm a part. So that's what I studied. So you see how the things tie together. And so we're going to spend the first part in worship, just giving thanks and expressing gratitude to God. And I'm going to read a poem from this book, Tetelestai, as part of that. And we are going to celebrate this mini book. It is, let me see how many pages. Just about 69 pages. It little but it talawa, as we say in Jamaica. And I don't mind producing small books for a big impact. I have bigger books. If you look at this, Authorpreneur Secrets, this is almost 190 pages. So I have produced bigger books, but I also like small books. And these 2 books will be in focus. All right. So if it's not too late to register, you can RSVP at authorpreneursecrets.com/triple treasure 26. I'll put the links in the show notes. So I'm going to come back to calling to completion a little later, lessons learned on the doctoral journey, and also share some lessons from Dr. Lisa Facey-Shaw that helped me and that I think will also help you if you're on the journey. This, Keys to Win at Life, I'm turning this book, All 100 Keys, into explainer videos. It does 2 things. One is a dream that I've always had. And so I am using Google Notebook LM. I'm on a paid plan. And I use AI voices and I use my voice. And in the future, I also have some more Jamaican voices, because it's 100 keys and we've just done 12 keys. I'm going to play one of the keys today. So you're going to hear one of the keys.
Life is filled with problems, and oftentimes we wonder why. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Get the keys to win at life today.
Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at something that is honestly absolutely foundational for personal success. We are unpacking key number 11, which is called Win with Reasons. And this is actually part of a massive 100-part series from Dr. C. Ruth Taylor's incredible book, Keys to Win at Life, 100 Proven Ways to Handle Life's Challenges. I want you to think about this for a second. What actually keeps your goals breathing when life gets tough? I mean, setting a goal is the easy part, right? But actually sticking to it when the obstacles start stacking up against you, man, that requires a real-life source. Our ambitions need fuel to survive those difficult times, and that is exactly what we're going to get into today. Let's kick things off with our first section, Key 11, the power of why. So there's this traditional Portuguese proverb that says, the wineskin has its reasons for smelling of pitch. Now, I know that might sound just a little bit cryptic at first, but it beautifully captures a universal truth. Everything has a root cause. If you are actually going to win at whatever you set out to do in life, well, knowing your underlying why, your real root cause for taking action is absolutely crucial. Dr. Taylor breaks this down into just a brilliant core thesis. She says your reason is the absolute oxygen keeping your goals breathing. Without that oxygen, well, the second you face friction, your goals are literally going to suffocate. But with it, your reasons actively build that resilience you need to persevere against some pretty incredible odds. Which brings us to Section 2, Wisdom on Resilience. The renowned business philosopher Jim Rohn once offered this fantastic insight. He said, when the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. I just love how this reframes our struggles. We so often get entirely bogged down in the mechanics, the how of achieving our goals. But Rohn points out that having a strong, unshakable reason actually simplifies all of that. The path sort of just reveals itself when your motivation is undeniable. And we see this taken to its absolute ultimate extreme in a quote from Viktor Frankl's profound book, Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." Frankl observed this firsthand in literally the darkest of human conditions. A why doesn't just make things easier. It provides life-saving oxygen that allows a person to bear even the most unbearable situations imaginable. Let's look at how this plays out in Section 3, Real-Life Resilience. Take the incredible true story of former Tennessee football player Inky Johnson. At the very beginning of his journey, his original why, like his really deep reason for even playing football in the first place, was to improve his mother's life. He wanted to be an example for his family and the youths in his neighborhood. That fuel pushed him to train relentlessly until he was actually drafted into the Professional Football League. But then, after just a short stint in the league, he suffered a severe injury that left his right arm completely paralyzed. Just like that, his football career was over. Now, if his goal was simply to play football, he would have been totally defeated. But Inky refused to give up because he still had his reason to fight. That why provided the resilient oxygen he needed to pivot his life. Today, he's a highly successful businessman, an amazing motivational speaker, and just a huge inspiration to millions. All right, moving into our final section, Find Your Reasons. Dr. Taylor actually shares her own application of Key 11. Her reasons for writing this very book were crystal clear. She wanted to fulfill her life purpose, to solve others' problems, and to change lives. She actually notes that when she lacked the drive to complete the project, and we've all been there, right? Reflecting on these 3 exact reasons gave her the motivation to push through and finish the whole shebang. So here are Dr. Taylor's actionable steps for you to apply today. Step 1, write down 5 to 10 compelling reasons for living, for your work, for starting a family, or honestly, whatever major endeavor you're involved in right now. Step 2, keep them accessible. Put them in your phone or jot them down on a small card you keep in your pocket. And step 3, review them often. You literally have to continually breathe that oxygen into your goals to keep them alive. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely vital question for you. You probably know what your goals are, right? You know what you want to achieve. But what is your why? What is the core reason that's going to fuel your resilience when the friction inevitably comes? I challenge you to figure that out today. Write it down and secure the oxygen your ambitions need to really thrive. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Get the keys to win at life today.
I have had to learn to stand in storms and to become resilient. And these are the 100 keys that I found that have helped me. And I still go back to them from time to time. So even as I was doing the series, it started encouraging me, or in Christian circle would say, started ministering to me. Your reasons very often is the oxygen that keeps your goal breathing. And I experienced a number of challenges in completing this doctorate. And it was the reasons that kept me. Some people talk about the purpose and the reasons for staying the journey. When things got rough, getting my dissertation proposal accepted and having to do over my proposal 3 times after getting 99% on the first proposal and then had to do it over. Oh my goodness. I'm going a different direction. That was painful. And then being stuck for 9 months. And then I had several pauses, hence the 12 years, 11 years in the program, and then the previous year enrolling. And it was just challenging. I deferred for 4 years before I started. And then even while on the journey, I would start and stop, start and stop. I'm going to pull up a visual of the doctoral journey to see if you can see it. So this is my doctoral journey timeline chart, 2014 to 2026, from calling to completion. So 2014, we have the calling, exploration, and preparation for acceptance. And then April 2015, acceptance at BGU. And then 2015 to 2018, study paused. Then start the first course January 2019. And the second course was April 2020. So you see a whole year, more than a year, sat out again. And then April 2020, didn't do another course after that until October 2022. So all of 2021, that's pause. A course is like 3 months, so you can see. Then the third course was October 2022. Then more than a year, well, not quite a year, October 22, April 2023 was the fourth course. So months in between that, I sat out. And then April 2023 to July 2023, you can see there's a gap there. That's more than a year. I did the fifth course in July 2023. And then a whole year. The sixth course was April 2024. So you can see these gaps, almost another whole year. That was the dissertation proposal design. And in July 2024. So I did 2 courses there in 2024. And in July 2024 to July 2025, that's another almost 1 year in between before doing the 8th course. And in July 2025, months in between before October 2025 doing the 9th course. And then finally, the final course, January 2026. And then I finished, became Dr. Taylor in March 2026. So that's the journey there. And graduation is coming up, and that is the 6th of June. And working on it, I have a small balance left on my tuition. And so if you're going to win with the reasons like you saw in that video, one of the reasons that kept me on this journey was because I felt this was God's will for me and God's call. And when it was time to begin, it was that urging, that prompting that I know is the voice of the Lord that says, start now. And in obedience, I got it. So one of the lessons you have to learn is that you need reasons. And if it is God who's telling you to do this thing and you feel that prompting, He will provide. You may not have the cash, but this doctoral journey taught me about the faithfulness of God. I learned that delays are seasons of development. What appears to be a setback in timing is often a period where God prepares the skills, the character, and the foundations needed for the next stage. So that is from this book, From Calling to Completion. That was one of the major lessons. Now you have to get the book, the book tiny. I can't give you all the lessons. But Dr. Martin Audiod says that the research journey stems from God's calling on researchers to accomplish part of their missional calling here on earth. And part of my missional calling is to help people to encounter God through writing. My authors are like the missionaries. It's also to preserve Caribbean culture and heritage. Part of my mission is also to build up legacies of faith and just legacy in general so that the next generation can learn from the previous generation and the current generation can have the materials that they need to thrive. Psalm 102 verse 18 says, "Write these things that a generation not yet born will praise the Lord." Marcus Garvey says, "A people without knowledge of their past, history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." So all of that. And I also, coming out of the study and the doctorate, it confirmed that my natural bent to come alongside people. I believe, the degree itself is to help me to bring cultural transformation and transformation within the creative sector. And then the ACTS framework is my way of bringing transformation by saying that book sales alone is not the only measure of author success. That's the innovation coming out of this study. I'm going to share one more lesson from my book. Another lesson I learned on the journey is the value of community and encouragement along the doctoral journey. 50% of doctoral students don't finish. Not because they're not bright. The journey is challenging. I mean, you have young people who are so brilliant, they hurry up and finish. Many times they get scholarship. It's expensive. It is expensive. And for me, in Jamaica and then paying US dollars school fee, as a small business owner, it was challenging, but God did it. But at my school, they have what is called a personal learning community. And so they journey with you along your doctoral journey. You select these persons and you submit it to the academic committee. They pray with you, they read through your papers, they encourage you. My committee, 10 persons, had 7 doctors on it. I am blessed. I give God thanks. And so completion is really a solo journey. Surround yourself with supportive people to provide guidance, accountability, and encourage,ment. Without the PLC, I would have given up, especially in the roughest patch of the dissertation project proposal to get that approved. Yeah, I would have given up. And so this book is dedicated to the PLC team, and you have to have good academic support. My supervisor, Dr. Scholastica, my second reader, Dr. Claire Henry, and Dr. Martin Audiod, academic advisor to the president, were my rock. Dr. Audiod, throughout the journey, she was the one that I spoke with at BGU in 2019 when I felt the prompting of the Lord saying, start your courses now. Dr. Audiod, from start to finish, was just a tremendous support. And this book is dedicated to the God who called me, sustained me, and led me to completion. To the members of my personal learning committee, Dr. Damian Black, Dr. Lawrence Nicholson, Dr. Owen Wilson, Dr. Zoe Simpson, Dr. David Corwin, Dr. Clara Ricketts, Dr. Cynthia Allen Pearson, David Pearson, Patrick Thompson, and Darren Hilaire. This book is dedicated to you. Now, I am going to order these books and give to you each an autographed copy Dr. Martin Audioed for supporting me and for future authorpreneurs. This one is dedicated to you. So it's leadership and life lessons from a 12-year doctoral journey. And then this book, more lessons coming up. So I shared 3 lessons in a sense there from my book. One, God funds what he authors. You need to have reasons, right? I felt this was a calling, and Dr. Audio says that when we do research, it is part of fulfilling God's missional call to us here on earth. And the third lesson I shared was the value of community and support on this doctoral journey. Don't go the journey alone. And then this book here, 12 Lessons Learned on My PhD Journey. One of the things when the going get rough, I was saying, if others have done it, so can I. And I remember watching a broadcast. Dr. Aiden Brown was hosting that with his DSL, Doctors of Strategic Leadership community. And they were sharing their journey. One lady, I think she had 5 children, a husband, and a business to run. And she had toddlers, and she was still able to complete the degree. And I was like, wow. And just some of the things that they shared encouraged me. And that is why, as part of the celebration, I'm inviting others to come and share. And I am going to just repurpose that aspect of the celebration and share that discussion as a video or even part of the next episode. But I'll put that out as a video in itself if you are unable to attend. But I'm not streaming this on YouTube, the celebration. But this book, learning from other people's experience, helped. Now, Dr. Shaw, this Bamboo Sparks had the honor of working with her to publish this book. And she dedicates this book to the amazing superhero adult learners, balancing multiple commitments while aspiring for educational achievement. I'm going to read the preface and then share 3 lessons from her book. Daddy, can you come to the park with me? Why don't you ask your mommy to go with you today? She's not going to come. She just sits around her computer all the time. Gut-wrenching words from the mouth of my then 5-year-old daughter while working on a research paper for my Doctor of Philosophy degree in the field of technology-enhanced learning. I was a year away from completing the PhD at the time, juggling responsibilities of being a wife, mother of 2 children, full-time academic, read this as academic advisor, program director, project supervisor, member of many committees, etc., and working with the youth and Sunday school department at my local church. I did the PhD program part-time via distance with a 7-hour time difference between my supervisors and me. I was already serving as a full-time faculty member in academia for over a decade. So unlike some persons who use the PhD as a route to get into academia, my motivation was to further my professional development in the area. Many of us as adult learners engage in further studies for professional development or to acquire higher education, sometimes long after entering the workforce. Reasons for choosing to engage in advanced studies vary, with economic survival, upskilling or reskilling and self-actualization being among the common ones. The kind of studies engaged in could be formal traditional degree programs such as a bachelor's, master's, PhD, or even a 6-month diploma. Studies could also take the form of engagement in work-related training courses or industry-based certifications. Whether for career improvement prospects, such as increased salary or promotion, upward mobility, or mere self-actualization, finding the motivation, remember I said the reasons to return to a classroom, face-to-face or distance, in one's older years can be daunting. Perhaps the number one question asked by you and other working adults seeking to study but have several commitments outside of work is, where will I find the time? If you just nodded in your head in agreement, then this book is for you. If you are already studying and have a full or part-time job along with a full-time family and other commitments such as caregiver, volunteer with a service-oriented or charity-based organization, church, or civic duties, this book is also for you. If you are in academia with several duties and responsibilities and wondering if you will have the time to embark on a study program, I can identify with you. If you've been struggling to finish your PhD for quite some time, or thinking about whether you should start the PhD or any program of study just because you don't know where you'll find the time, then you don't want to put this book down. And she goes on, the purpose of this book is to provide you with valuable lessons from my PhD journey that can help you to balance your responsibilities with your studies. Of course, I skipped out some of the preface, but the introduction is intriguing to get you to start. The introduction, I mean, as in to the preface. So the first lesson, Doc says, is know your motivation. It was finally understanding the motivation, even beyond calling, that helped me. When the rubber meets the road and the road gets rough, you have to go find the motivation. What's your motivation for studying? Is it the promise of a job, a promotion, or a bigger salary? For me, it was none of those. First, it was, may I do this because God says so? And I'm just being obedient to that call. I didn't see why. It was in the 10th year when I was really struggling to finish that I kept going. I kept going part of the time because people had invested in this, the scholarship, and other people would just take up money, give me, because they said God said to give me the money. I remember a lady called me one morning when I was wondering if I had the time, the energy, the resources to do an 8 credit course, and each credit is 525 US dollars. And I didn't have the money. And she called me and said, God says to give you $100,000 right now towards your studies. And I was like, so when the road got rough, I had to say, I can't let those people money go to waste. But after a while, not even that felt like it could sustain me. It was an incident that happened, and the Lord showed me again purpose. There are people that I will not be able to help, doors that I won't be able to walk in without this. And for me, once anything I'm doing, where am I tearing up, is connected to service, contribution to others, and I perceive it as God's will, that's what gets me there. And so knowing your motivation helps. The second lesson she said is also to take the journey for you. It deserves its own call out, she says. As you reflect on your studies that you've chosen, being motivated to study, whether you are the initiator or not, is one thing. Ownership of the journey is another. It was in the 10th year that I took ownership of the journey. And when I had the challenges, I said, I need to be resilient. I need to finish what I've started. And even if it takes 1,000 tries, I'm going to keep going at this thing, because it's about the transformation that was taking place in me. It was a journey for my own reformation. It wasn't just getting the degree at the end to be called Dr. Taylor, but what was happening to me in the interim. And it mattered. A doctorate is typically the ideal qualification for teaching at a research-based university, among other things. It can lead to career opportunities and improved remuneration benefits for the PhD holder. I took the PhD for the reasons above, but also to gain transferable skills and, yes, to achieve the highest education and qualification since I started my academic journey. But taking the journey for you also serves as a reminder that this is your course grade, your assignment, your thesis, your dissertation, whatever work you product. So for me, because the study focused on my own work, it served as well for me in the end as validation of my work, giving me more confidence, and it gave me the tools to further the work and to get it to the next level. I'm going to share one more lesson from Dr. Lisa Facey's book. You will have to come to From Calling to Completion to meet her and hear more from her. I'm going to use number 7. Find a few light resources to keep you sane. So let me hop over to page 35. Her book is, let me see, mine is 66 pages. Hers is 59, but it lick about talawa. So page 35. Find a few light resources to keep you sane. Your institution of study provides several resources and services to help you navigate your study journey. If not readily evident, be sure to ask your peer academic advisors about these. There are, however, times when you need empathy from like-minded colleagues who are in the same boat. Many social media accounts and websites offer this kind of support. During my period of study, I subscribed to 2 resources that help to keep me sane. A blog dedicated to providing advice to persons completing a PhD and other related PhD humor. Both were extremely helpful in obvious ways. I think Grad Coach, which is also on YouTube, they provide the support as well. Another doctor recommended that. And I watched, especially when I was doing the write-up, I watched a couple videos by other PhD students, both to understand how to do the qualitative write-up and understand the tools, but hearing their journey. For example, one person said he completed chapters 4 and 5 write-up in 7 days. And I was like, oh, I love a challenge. So I too took that on and I did it. You may feel the need to subscribe to many of these, given that their followers understand and can identify with what you are going through. Be careful, though, of the number of resources that you browse in a bid to reduce your mental overload. Follow too many of these accounts, and following too many of these could deplete your energy. Before you know it, you spend hours just scrolling and browsing. Keeping sane may also include watching a movie, a football game, listening to music, exercising, or whatever you do to relax. This can help to take some pressure off as long as you do not overdo the activities such as binge watching and procrastinating too much on things which are due. Remember, it's about balance. And our book is Balancing Work, Family, and Studies, 12 Lessons Learned on My PhD Journey. So I have leadership and life lessons from a 12-year doctoral journey. I share 12 lessons too, but they are different. And so anytime somebody is doing doctoral studies, I always recommend this book. And I've gifted it to others. One PhD student this week sent me a picture confirming she received it. And I am now recommending that you add this to your resource, especially if you're a Christian and feel that God is calling you for higher studies. Read mine. This book is not just about doctoral studies, but anybody struggling to complete something that they feel called to do. Remember, it took me more than a decade. This book is also for you. So I trust that you found this episode inspiring. It's a little different, and I want to encourage you to stay the course. All right, that's it for today. Just reminding you that of the making of books, there is no end. Go pen it to win it and dominate authorpreneurship. Ta for now, until next time.